Okay, welcome back. Let's go to video 2. This is video 2 of do's and don'ts of real estate. So some people will disagree with me on this, but it's been my personal experience. I've done both and seen the pros and cons. I am a big believer in buy and hold, okay? A lot of people say, I want to buy a house and flip it, fix it up, make a buck. That's great. I've done that. Here's the problem, in my opinion, with that. You've now created yourself a job. So if that's your job, and I have friends that do this full time and they do great, then good for you. You can have a nice career of just flipping properties, but that's not my job. I'm a full-time mortgage lender. That's my career, but I still want to do real estate on the side and not have it hog up a lot of time. So I'm not interested in flipping. And the second reason I'm not interested in flipping is because of those previous examples in video 1. Make 10 grand, make 20 grand, make 30 grand. Awesome, way to go. How much time did that take you to do that, though? Like I said, you've created a job. I want to make 100,000. I want to make 300,000. I want to make $1 million. And the only way to do that, in my opinion, is to hang on to it long term. So I'm a buy and hold guy, not a flip guy. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about mostly. I have basically a couple of basic rules of real estate investing. And once I had kind of caught the vision that there's a lot of money to be made, I was over exuberant, let's say, and I kind of went hog wild. So there was a time where I had 12 properties at one time, and the problem was I was all about cash flow. So I said, I want to buy a house for this price, I want to have a low mortgage, and I want to have a high rent, and I'm running the numbers saying, oh, I can have a $500 cash flow on this property, I can have a $300 cash flow on this property, I might have a $600 cash flow on this multifamily property. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm just going to buy a bunch of these and then retire. I'll be out of the rat race, right? So the problem was, because I was cash flow focused, I started looking at garbage properties. So on paper, it looked fantastic. Hey, I can buy this fourplex, in bad area of town for 100 grand, and it has a $1,500 rent. My mortgage is only 800. And how can I go wrong? This is amazing. Well, let me tell you how you can go wrong. You can have a piece of crap property that's 100 years old that's constantly breaking down, and your tenants are all meth addicts. That's how you can go wrong. I did that times 10. It was a disaster. So when you hear of everyone saying, oh, real estate, rentals, I've heard all these horror stories. That's true. There are horror stories out there, but they're self-created. They're namely created in 3 ways, in my opinion. Number 1, you buy a piece of garbage house. Number 2, you have a horrible tenant. And number 3, you're over-leveraged without sufficient cash reserves. And if anything goes wrong, you're in trouble and at risk of foreclosure. So in my opinion, those are the only 3 ways to have real estate be a headache. And they're easily avoided. So I won't go into the details of the nightmare years, but there was a few years where I went hog wild, bought all the wrong properties, all the wrong tenants, and it was so stressful. I got rid of all those homes, and then for a few years I licked my wounds and was a little skittish. I was still buying homes for myself, but I took a break from rental properties. Well, I'm watching prices go up. I'm thinking, we've got to get back into this. This is my retirement. And so I got back into buying. My new strategy is very simple. I want a really nice house in a nice area, and I'm going to take my sweet old time to find a good tenant. I would rather wait 3 months to find a good tenant than just put anyone in there, because you'll have so much more problems with a bad tenant. So that is my new strategy. Oh, one other thing I do is all of my properties are managed by a property management company. I pay extra for that, but in my opinion, it is so worth it, because when I say passive income, I literally mean passive income. I don't do anything on my properties. In fact, a couple of funny stories. That same home that I mentioned in the first video that we bought at the wrong time, so that's a rental property for me now. It's close to where my kids go to school. About every 2 months, I'll drive by just to see if it's still there. I don't do anything on that home. I get a check every month, and I never hear from them. The second funny story, I don't say this to sound arrogant, but it's really true what happened. So Becca and I were going over the portfolio, and we're just saying, hey, how's this property doing? How's that property doing? And we thought we were done, and we realized we forgot about one property that we owned. And we're like, oh my gosh, there's that house in Layton. I totally forgot about that one. We bought this house a couple years ago, and I've never been back, ever. I just kind of let that one go. I get a check every month in the mail, never hear from anybody, and I seriously forgot that I had that house. So again, I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but the point is, if you do it right, it really is completely passive income. So that's my new strategy. I don't care about cash flow. In fact, most of my properties do not cash flow right now, but I've got several of them on a 15-year note, and they just break even, and someday this is going to be my retirement money, and it's totally passive. So that's how I like to do my real estate now. And again, different strokes for different folks. That's what works for me. I'm super busy in my career. I don't have time to babysit properties, but every single month I'm building wealth automatically. I love getting my mortgage statement every month because I see the principal going down, and I know I'm in the market, I'm in the business, I know the values are going up. So if I never bought another property again, every year I can almost pinpoint exactly the dollar amount that I'm going to increase my wealth automatically. So that's my strategy. That's how I do real estate investing now. Hopefully those tips of what not to do will help you guys on your journey of real estate investing. So video 3 I'm most excited about. Let's get into some specifics of how you can build your wealth. Anybody can do it. Doesn't matter what situation you're in. I'm going to show you exactly how to use loan products to accelerate the process and to make a lot of money. So let's go to video 3.